Welcome to another episode of
Knerdout.
Knerdout. Oh, you got to give more oomph.
All right.
Just do it. Just do it.
All right.
Welcome to another episode of Knerdout. I'm Randy. This is Brian. And we are here to talk. Here, I was like going to do that. Like, what is that? Like magic. We're here to talk about the new Phantasm Ravager, which is Phantasm 5. Before we just go out on that, Phantasm the original was restored in a 4K
4K restoration.
Beautiful.
A
man.
bad robot. Gorgeous.
Yeah, what's
Beautiful.
crazy is Sci-Fi Channel is playing it.
With commercials?
Yeah,
That's unwatchable.
And editing. You know what the editings are? It's great. It's kind of weird. It's like they'll show a girl's titties,
Yeah.
and all they do is make the areolas like a Caucasian skin color. So it's like, what's the point? Like that was their editing. Like you see the full cups, and they make the nipples
airbrush.
like the same color as the skin. It's like at that point, it's like just show the
And
nipples.
you know what? That's not a movie you can watch with commercials. If you haven't seen it in a while, I mean, it's like, first, it's short.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't drag it. It's 87 minutes. When you drag it out to 2 hours and throw the pacing off, it loses everything.
I agree with you.
That shit pisses me. I mean,
but I was very happy to get that
Yeah, it's
because
sweet,
like
though.
it
It's
was the evening, and I really wanted to see it. But the 4K restoration is pretty incredible.
It's gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's great. I'll have to get it on Blu-ray. Wow, this is crazy. What did this come with?
This is the DVD Region 2 box set.
So
This is the hardcore fan set. This came with Phantasm Through Oblivion with a special feature disc, which had Phantasmagoria, all kinds of special features. Like I said, it's Region 2, so in order to watch it, you have to go buy an all-region or Region 2 DVD player.
you can't get that anymore, though, right?
What?
This? You can't still
Fuck,
get this.
no, I mean,
that's
it's
awesome.
DVD, man.
Man, you should
This
get
thing's
like
old.
prop. They should make prop replicas, like big, heavy ass.
I think they probably do.
Yeah,
I was looking at one on eBay.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it's a prop replica because it's like the props were like half.
Okay.
Sphere. The props were
really?
like that because they had to mount it, you know.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah, it's like they want just some guy on eBay's making spheres, and I did order one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I didn't order it. I'm looking at it. I can't afford it yet.
Yeah.
But so shall we get to Ravager?
Yeah. You know what? I'll just set it up. Brian here. We're both Phantasm fans, but I would say that you are like an extreme. Would it be?
I
fair
would
to
say I'm a nut. Like I don't consider myself like really super fan of any like a nut on anything, including macros. Like
really? Okay.
I mean, I love it a lot, but in comparison to other people,
right? Like, Phantasm is your.
But I know a lot about Phantasm. Right. Like I've seen each movie with commentary 20 times at least.
Wow, yeah.
Like at least like read every article I could, watched every interview with every person in it. Know the history. Watch the Kenny. Like I know every movie.
Have you met?
Yes.
Don? Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yep. The only one I haven't met is Bill Thornberry.
Okay. I don't even. Was that Jody?
Yeah, that was Jody.
Okay. Good guy.
That was Jody.
I'm a casual Phantasm fan. I've basically been brought into it. I mean, I watched Phantasm 2 as a kid, of course. I love it. And it's still, I'll say it. Like, I know it makes me a phony. Phantasm 2 is still my favorite one.
There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people think that. In some ways, it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I love them all, but Phantasm 2 is great.
Yeah.
It's great, man. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but I was brought in basically by your obsession and our good friend Ryan Magnus's, and we're gonna have a little bit cuts of his opinion on it. He wasn't very generous, but we'll get to that and we'll see if it's reasonable. But
Ryan Magnus here in Secaucus, New Jersey. Just got off work. Watched Phantasm Ravager yesterday, and let me tell you, whoo.
Why don't you go ahead? Like you.
Now and remember, I personally did not listen to his opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, for no other reason than I just don't want to say things differently than I would say anyways, defending it, whatever he didn't like about it.
Right.
This was a shit show of a film.
So yeah, give it to me. What did you think?
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I loved it as much as all the other ones.
Okay.
Now, that's not to say I would change things about it.
Mhm.
But I could say that about any movie.
Right.
But that doesn't even matter. But what I loved about it, it followed through on a bunch of themes that go through the series, like spoiler alert, just right up.
Yeah. If you haven't seen
yeah.
it, but you're most likely not watching two guys talk about Phantasm Ravager.
Exactly, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But what I liked about it is the theme, it all goes back to the first movie. Like, the first movie, you never knew what was real.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It's like it would constantly, like, do jump cuts of, like, Jody in a chair, and then the chair's in the mortuary,
Mhm.
and then Mike's in his bed, but then the bed is in the and you never knew what was real in it. And this one knocked the shit out of that thing.
But do you think that they concluded what it was? Because that's like that was my complaint.
You
about
wanted
it.
one of them to be what it was.
Yes, like
They all
it's
were.
still like
They
like
all were.
they said that they were gonna wrap it, and I don't feel that it was wrapped.
Oh,
No closure. We needed closure, and we got none.
they did wrap
I
it.
did enjoy it, by the way.
Like, okay, I'm glad you brought that
Mhm.
up. Because in my opinion, they wrapped it up perfectly. The movie ended
Mm-hmm.
with the
On a
trio.
cliffhanger.
No,
Oh,
the
okay.
movie ended with the trio reunited,
Right.
going to fight the forces of evil in the next dimension.
Was it in the next dimension, or was it in Reggie Bannister's head, or was
They're
it
the
in?
same
I don't know,
fucking
man.
thing.
I see.
They-
Look.
I don't think it's made.
Mhm.
I think that's our job to come up with that. I don't think Don Coscarelli could answer that. I know what he'd
Okay.
say, because like every time people ask him shit, he's like, "That's your job." not
Right. Which I'm okay with that, and this
Hmm.
isn't necessarily a criticism of the movie, but I thought maybe I didn't read this, or maybe I got the impression that like Don Coscarelli did say that he was going to provide what would you call it?
an
Like,
ending,
just an ending, like
and I think it did conclude. Like, I mean,
I don't
because
know.
It
I
concluded
don't-
for a Phantasm movie. It didn't end with Mike being pulled through a mirror or
True,
something like
true.
that. And it's like,
But I didn't.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'll cut
I
you
was
off.
gonna say I didn't get any. I didn't feel like I got any like I don't know resolution on it.
Listen, I just want to start off by saying, biggest problem with the movie, it doesn't end. We still have a cliffhanger, basically. We don't close it out, which was the biggest payoff for this movie. I was told there was going to be a conclusion.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, it's like Reggie, Mike, and Jody were reunited in the CUDA. I mean, that's that's all that matters. Going to fight evil, and
Okay.
I mean, like. I know. I think a lot of people wanted to see the tall man defeated,
Right.
or the tall man
He
defeated,
definitely
killed
was
him.
not right.
Yeah, and he wasn't. And I mean, that's what I liked about it, is it's like, it didn't have, I don't feel like it had a cliffhanger ending, but it didn't end. It's just, it didn't end.
It definitely
but that's
had
how,
no conclusion, and that
but
was
that's how-
frustrating. Like,
Okay,
it wouldn't
I
be.
loved that, though.
I loved it if there
they're
was a
gonna make
chance for
more.
number 6, but because like I thought this was to wrap it up. Here's my thought, and definitely like. Again, like this is sort of like with our Lion-O, like my opinion doesn't matter because I'm not like a super fan. But my thought was I enjoyed the movie. I loved the apocalyptic stuff in it. Like that was my favorite. Like it was sort of like made Phantasm. Like Phantasm always had like elements of sci-fi, but I think this one definitely had the most.
Yep.
However, originally, from what I understand, is this was written to be a webisode.
Yes.
It was supposed to be a web series. Well, that would have been a shitty web series as well. Let's call a spade here, my friends.
What you call?
They filmed
And
2 of them.
You can tell
Yeah.
that. Now, I'm not. I mean, it did feel like they would have
What
worked
makes
better.
you say, where did, I mean, I can too, I think, but specifically.
Specifically because it did feel like it was like different. Everything was cut in like 6-minute episodes, like the way the movie was cut, and then they cut it all together.
Well,
So
see-
it felt that way.
Well, see, I felt like it did in the beginning, sort of, but that, which makes sense because, like, I guess this doesn't matter, but because I found out after the fact, but I watched an interview with both Coscarelli and David Hartman, and they shot 2 episodes.
Okay.
They said it went so well that they decided, okay. We're gonna write a script.
Right.
So they had 2 episodes, and then they wrote a
Okay.
so it is an afterthought that they were gonna make it a cohesive or sort of cohesive story.
I do feel that it would work better as webisodes.
Me too.
I
I sort of do
Like
too.
it would have been like a good, like nice, rewarding thing to see another 5-6 minute episode each week. But as a whole,
People would have
movie,
shit themselves.
I think
if
it
it would
would've
have been
been- I
that,
think
it
it
would have
would've-
been the best
I think-
episodes ever.
I think it would have worked better. As a movie, like I was entertained by it, and I did like how it jumped. Like, at the very beginning, I was a little nervous. Like, I was like, this is cheesy.
Yeah, it was
this
cheesy.
is really cheesy.
But he's like 101 degrees, not a drop of water.
Yeah, it was really corny. But, like, Phantasm is corny.
It is
like,
corny, yeah.
Like, I'm not defending... Is it... Okay, first and foremost, I'll say this. If you are not familiar with Phantasm or have no interest in Phantasm,
don't see this
this
first.
movie.
Yeah.
Don't, because this movie is going to provide nothing for you.
Yep.
It's not going to work. But if you are into the series, I think it was an enjoyable installment. But you know what it felt like to me? It felt like it was like episode 86 of Next Generation. Like, it was okay, but it wasn't really...
fits right in there,
yeah, it just
but
kind of
doesn't
fits
stand
in
on
there.
its own.
Definitely didn't stand on its own.
Yeah,
And I think it could have used a lot, like like when they went into the future, like it's like you felt moments of intensity, but they just like kind of drifted away from it.
The movie's not fun.
Kind of wish they would have had like a real like if they would have had like a 7-minute like intense, over the top, bloody, gory battle. I think it would have added a lot to it.
the end battle was sort of a letdown.
Yeah,
like that was sort of like I mean that was it. Actually, there was a huge letdown.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. And I mean, like I said, I love it, but there's definitely room for a lot of criticism.
Absolutely.
But you can argue that on all of them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, the whole thing is, it doesn't really stand on its own. And you know what? It's not meant to stand on its own.
Right.
I don't think it was, you know, because I mean, I don't think they're going to make a cent on it. I don't think it was made to make money.
No, I don't think it cost them very much.
Yeah,
either,
no, it
which
didn't.
is good.
Check out this scenery around me. This is a higher budget film right now than Ravager.
But I think when the reboot comes out, and I think Don Coscarelli will make more when it says created based on characters created by Don Coscarelli. Mm-hmm. That credit will make him more than all the Phantasm merchandising and movies combined.
Yeah.
Like, I think that... So he's not doing... They didn't do it for money. They did it for neurotic fucks like me. Yeah.
To wrap it up.
Give us one...
Closure.
A little bit of closure before they reboot it. Because we never would have forgiven it.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I
for
think
that,
you're right.
Like, you're not watching. But if you guys are... David Hartman, Mr. Coscarelli, thank you. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I mean, thank you.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I mean, like, I felt appreciation watching it. I'm like...
You felt it was better than nothing, is kind of like...
It was better than nothing. And, I mean, I liked it, too. I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
Like...
It was cheesy, but they're all...
They're all cheesy.
They are cheesy.
When the ball took out the horse.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
That was probably the best. Like, no, that was probably the most like shocking scene.
And that's the part.
That's why I wanted more of that, though. Like, I did want more. You know what I also liked? I liked all the the apocalypse, like the big ass balls.
Yeah,
I wanted more of that.
Well, yeah, but that's expensive. Mm-hmm. Okay,
is it really though? In today's modern like filmmaking technology, do you think it really was expensive? I think it was expensive considering
for that movie. Yeah, I think it's probably the most expensive in that movie, but. I mean, on a Hollywood budget, no. But I mean, I'm sure Don Coscarelli probably financed it out of pocket.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You know?
But he could have kickstarted that and probably made enough money. I mean, I think so. I mean, maybe that's the route he didn't want to go.
But he just does shit that he wants to do, and I love that about him.
I do too. It was sort of a boring movie.
I know, Brian, you loved it. Randy, you kind of liked it. Seems like you basically hated it, but you're like, I accept it. I accept it for what it is.
Okay.
That's Magnus. I'm gonna put in some of Magnus's talking point. There was some boring. He had a problem with it. I'm not trying to talk.
No, I want to hear it.
But he had an issue with. By the way, Angus Scrim, fantastic job. 94 years old. This was his final role.
He made it on his deathbed. Literally, he did.
He was great, and I'm not just saying that because because he passed away. I'm saying that because he really did a good job. Like he's always done a good job, but he didn't feel like he was phoning it in. It was good.
No, he wanted it. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I think so too. I think he felt like that too. And you know what? They gave him more dialogue in this movie than all of them combined, which I sort of liked. He didn't
say boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I was so surprised. I was like, oh, he didn't.
Did he not?
No, I did not hear one. Hey, boy.
Yeah, you're
really
right.
Surprised.
He didn't. I don't even think he had contact with. He only had contact with Reggie, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
I need to watch it.
Yeah.
I've only seen it 3 times. You know?
Yeah. So my complaints was kind of boring. Magnus had an issue with I guess him being destroyed by some little person.
Imagine.
Yeah, that's what
In
he
a
said.
bomb?
Right.
It's a shit movie, and I don't know how you could like it. It's not fun. Are you kidding me? The tall man dies from a grenade from a midget dude.
But there's a lot of midgets in our episodes lately.
Yeah.
But
He wasn't
but the thing
destroyed though.
right, because there was like hundreds
There's
of
thousands of
thousands
them.
of
Yeah,
them, right.
man.
He did say it was cheesy, but like to defend you on the other aspect, like they're all sort of cheesy. I mean, that's part of their thing.
Oh
like,
my god, did you
can't-
see Phantasm 3?
Yeah.
I mean, it's as cheesy as the trio.
Yeah.
Of like there was Bob Ivy, I think,
Mhm.
and like the chick and the old man in the pink hearse.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, but that's what makes it fantastic.
No, that does make it fantastic.
Reggie's cheesy lines and the best payoff, I thought,
Mhm.
was like Reggie finally could have gotten laid but was
Yeah.
passed out. I love that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
like,
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a movie you have to be a Phantasm fan.
yeah, don't watch it critically.
Yeah.
If you're some movie critic, it's gonna like, wow, that's a bitch.
Yeah, because
dude, you'll
yeah.
hate it. But if you care about, if you want to know what happens to Reggie, Mike, and Jody,
I still
you'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, but I still don't know that you found out. Like, did Reggie die?
I think so.
You think
I
so?
mean-
So you think it was all in his head? Like, so that's the thing. Like, at least you're right. It makes you
I
think.
think
that.
everything we saw in the movie happened. Like I think
Okay.
all those three
Okay.
timelines all
All right.
exist simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, because if the tall man is in different dimensions,
Right.
and exists
I see.
simultaneously
then.
in separate places, so can Reg. And I think that was the point of it.
Okay.
I mean,
I guess like I think they gave you something to think about, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
We waited 20 years. I want my $6.99 back from Amazon.
I guess again, I think of art of criticism. I don't want to say I wanted more blood and gore.
I
because
did.
I did.
Oh, I
I
did too. I did too. Did
too.
you find it as a downer or an upper ending?
Downer. Totally.
See, I found it as an upper.
Really?
I was like,
Because they were all in the car
they were
together.
all in the car together, and then the pickup on Rocky in
Mhm.
the end, like that was awesome because she was a cool character, but sort of out of left field.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I'm like, why wouldn't you bring her in earlier in the movie and make her an active
Yes,
part?
yes, she could have been in the whole like apocalypse stuff, and
Yeah.
that would have been kind of cool. I also think this, and I told you about this. We talked about this. Like, I thought it would have been awesome because the movie like sort of jumps from different like realities. How cool would it have been if they would have gotten the actor that played Michael in the second
Yep.
movie
And
to be involved in it, and it could have been like a mind trip, and it could have kind of tied them all
But
together.
we're not allowed to ever talk about him.
Really?
You're not allowed to
What's
talk
the
about
story behind that?
him. The story is,
They replaced obviously the kid.
yeah, when Universal came to Don Coscarelli,
Mhm.
and they're like, okay, we want you to make this sequel. It's like,
Right.
okay. They're like, here's the deal. You have to use working actors.
Okay.
And he's like, no way.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted him. They're like, so basically they gave him a choice. It's like, you recast Mike or you recast Reg.
Right.
And it's like, what are you supposed to do?
13-year-old kid or this adult? That, you know.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't a 13-year-old kid. He was about the same age.
Really?
Because it was, he would have been 21
Mhm.
during that. And it's like, but he couldn't. If he wanted to use him, he couldn't. There was
Okay.
not. I mean, that's what Don Coscarelli
Right. It's
said,
part of the
isn't it?
business. I get. Yeah.
Because Universal owns the rights.
Right,
There's a
sure.
studio movie.
Sure.
So, yeah. So, basically, we're not allowed to mention
But I
Phantasm
mean, like-
2.
like,
but I love it.
Do
I
they-
love that.
I know. Like that's the thing is like I think Phantasm 2 is the best one, and like does that make me not a big enough like a sellout fan?
No,
Like-
I'll bet there's hundreds,
Yeah,
thousands
yeah.
of
I
fans
mean, it
who would
just-
think the
It
same.
was the most entertaining. I mean, it
in
was.
some ways, it is the
yeah.
best one. Technically, it's the
Yeah,
best.
technically,
Technically, it's way
definitely.
the best one. It's one of the best horror sequels.
Yeah.
I mean, because like
That would be an example of a sequel that's better than the original.
oh,
I
you
think-
like it more than the first
I
one.
do, man.
Okay, that's nuts.
That is nuts.
But that's like an Aliens more than Alien. So it's acceptable.
Okay,
You can
I
do
also
it.
think you can do it. I also think it's because it's the one I saw. Like as a
Yeah.
kid, like I saw Phantasm 2 like on like HBO as a
Yep.
kid or something, and it's like Phantasm I didn't go back and see until later in my years. So it was like if Phantasm the original seemed cheesier because I had already seen.
I
Phantasm
saw the
2.
first one first because Phantasm 2 was coming out.
Mhm.
No one would take it.
Yeah.
Take me to see it. I mean, I was too young.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I'd have to go rent it, and at the Blockbuster, like you had to be a certain age to get
Right,
our movies,
right.
and they let me off the hook.
Oh no.
But it took me.
You look like a nice 10-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. And it took me 3 weeks to be able to rent
Yeah.
it. It seemed like years, but
Yeah.
it was actually 3 weeks because it would always be out
Yeah.
because because it was popular,
Mhm.
and I had the place call me when it came in. Yeah, it was a
That's
huge
awesome.
thing, and I remember seeing it, thinking it sucked the first time.
Yeah.
I did, but I was too young to
Yeah.
be I was probably
Yeah.
8 the first time I saw Phantasm.
Really? That is
How old
really
was I in
young.
86?
My daughter's
I was
8.
10.
couldn't
I'm sorry, I was
imagine.
10.
Okay,
I was
that's
10.
a little bit more.
Yeah, I was
all right.
10, and I mean, it took me, and then I saw Phantasm 2, and
Mhm.
Phantasm 2 was the greatest movie I ever saw
Yeah.
at the time. And then I went back and,
Okay.
and started to fall in love with Phantasm. I sort of understood it more, but
Mhm.
it's like I was too young to even understand it when I first
Well,
saw
I think
it.
the Aliens comparison is pretty good because I think I was in the same boat. Like, Aliens was the one I saw originally, and
Yeah.
I fell in love with that, and I don't think I appreciated Alien until, like, I got a little
Yeah,
older.
and it's like the differences are the same.
Yeah.
Like, Phantasm's it's a horror film.
Mhm.
Phantasm 2's a road picture.
Yeah.
You know, and horror.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But it's more action,
Yeah.
I think. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I
Yeah.
think you can pick any one.
Sure.
You know, it's not like any of them are sellout movies.
No, a lot of people hate Oblivion. I liked it, but, like, basically, I can understand someone not like it. And I don't remember number 3. Like, I can't.
Oblivion is my least favorite.
Yeah, I think
but I
that's-
still like it.
yeah.
It's my least favorite because it has the least amount of new material in it.
Yeah, just I'll put it in, but just know, and I'm
Yeah.
including Magnus in this because he's a fantastic.
Yeah, he's
super
legit.
fan,
He's legit.
and he couldn't be here, but he said he liked 3 a lot, and
Me
he
too.
did not like 4, which
Oblivion's the second worst, which both you guys loved. That movie sucks.
I think a lot of people. But you know, I mean, look, my thing about what Magnus said is, which I'll show you. He didn't like it, but.
It tastes exactly like human shit.
This is not a movie that I think that the average person would like. I don't think so.
it's not.
It's not like technically a good movie. It's not like well acted.
The acting is bad, and I love Reggie Bannister. I have an autographed Phantasm DVD.
I mean, it doesn't have those things. It doesn't have those elements.
Hey,
Let's
okay,
not kid ourselves.
okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
But-
But it's not made to be either.
Right.
It's not made
That's my point.
to bring in new guys.
Yeah.
It's not made.
No.
Oh, let's
No.
reinvigorate the series. It's meant to end it.
I think you're right.
You know, and it's like that. I appreciated
Yeah.
it.
I appreciated
Yeah.
it. If I was like, I like we used the example of like the prequels. Like I remember like the Star Wars prequels when they came out. Like I convinced myself to like them more
Yeah,
than I did.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that you are doing that, but I think it like allows you to engage and accept it more because it's a world you really want to see so
Exactly.
bad.
And
I
you
get
know,
it.
I mean, it's like the whole thing is, like I said, I don't watch it as a movie.
This movie was bad. It's the worst of the Phantasm series. It's not even close. I dare Brian Kruger to even debate that.
Right.
I don't see Reggie Bannister. I see Reggie, you know,
Yeah,
like
no, I
like
get
the
it.
characters. That's
Right.
how I watch it. You know, and I mean, it's like there's not a lot of movies I can
Mhm.
do that with. But if you're not able to do it, this isn't going to be your favorite.
No,
movie.
no, definitely.
You know,
not.
I mean, it's like, I mean, the whole thing is the other movies started off so much crazy shit that they
Yeah.
never followed up
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's what I loved about them, but that's what pissed so many people off. Like Don Coscarelli started off, he showed this whole Civil War sequence
Mhm.
and all these lines that you can't touch him, you can't come into this dimension. There's
Yeah.
danger of infection, whatever the fuck that means. And it's like
I gotta go back and watch
never
it.
explained it,
Right.
but it's like he makes all these technical references
Uh-huh.
to things that are never explained. And it's like, why'd you say that if you're not
Right.
and it's like I wanted it to be followed up in this movie and
Mhm.
explained, and it sort of was, but
Yeah.
not enough.
Yeah. Okay.
It didn't explain. It brushed over it,
Mhm.
sort of, and I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
They're gonna reboot it, whatever.
Yeah.
we
I
got
think-
one more.
I think they could have taken it a step further and been like, look, I do agree that budget is an issue, but like I do kind of wish that there was just like a certain like intensity and craziness to part of it, and like they
More
should
gore, more intense, faster, more intense.
faster, more intense.
Yeah, I
Like,
would have loved that. Me too.
I
I'm
think
gonna
it
give you
should
that.
have
There was a lot of slow moments.
Yeah, there
and-
were. There
and-
were.
Yeah.
It I think it just felt like everyone wanted to finish it, but they also did seem a little tired. Like instead of being like, fuck it, let's give our all. Like they seem like we got to finish this off, but like I don't know if it was the ride away in the like away in the sunset type movie that I guess we all hope it to be. But I was entertained by it.
Me too,
I was
man.
okay with it.
It started slow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
very slow.
I thought
I was very concerned.
The opening of it was a little slow, very slow.
Yeah.
But once it started shifting realities, it got really interesting.
No, I agree. If they could have stayed,
especially the future stuff, you know,
they could have stayed 10 more minutes into the future and just went crazy. Like, I mean, got a whole bunch of, I know, but it had a whole bunch of extras and like some crazy shit going on. Like, I think it would have lifted it up a little bit. But again, we're not. Look, we can't sell you this movie if you're not into this.
But I would if I could, because I love it.
Yeah, and that, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it for what it is. Again, I'm not a diehard, so I had nothing to lose, and I did think it had its cheese moments, but like the world was cheesy, so it's like you either, you know, I don't know. I guess what Magnus said is like I'm not buying it because this is all I'm gonna get. But I'm like fine with it.
So he didn't drink. Magnus did not like it.
He wanted his money back, man.
Didn't have a good time. Lost some money here.
Wow. Yeah.
He really hated it.
No, he hated it. Like, but I don't know if he was just. I don't know if he's being.
Was he just trying to be argumentative? I mean, not argumentative.
No, I think he's sincerely. Like, I think he's pretty sincere about his movies.
It's the worst.
But I mean, I think he has some valid points for what he says. But like, you know, I think there's just so many ways to look at it. Like, it's not a masterpiece. But I think it would have worked better as webisodes.
But I think it's a fair conclusion to what we've had. I thought it was as good as all the other ones. I mean, I don't think it's any worse than Oblivion.
I don't think it was any. Yeah, I don't think it was any worse than 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, I mean it is 5.
Oh,
it wasn't any better either. It was
right. It was a little more boring.
It was a
little less gory.
Little less gore.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. But I thought it
fit in.
It fit right in, man. I mean, it was like. I love all of them the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love it as much as 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, for all the other 12 Phantasm fans out there, I hope you liked our view. Let us know what you thought of the movie. For everyone else, you probably skipped this, but you're missing out. Go check out the remastered Phantasm
for sure
from Bad Robot, and then Phantasm 2. Go from there. You get through those two, you'll keep going. It's worth going. But please subscribe, like, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and until next time, nerd out.
And I think this movie was bad, and I'd love to debate it face to face, but it's all just opinions. But let me just put it to you like this. All right, Kruger, I'm the biggest Prince fan of all time. Okay? But I know that Graffiti Bridge is a shit movie. Okay? It just is. It doesn't matter how big of a Prince fan I am. Graffiti Bridge sucks. It's not Purple Rain. And I feel like right now you think Ravager's Purple Rain. It's not. It's purple shit.